The year is 1972, and we find Sister Queen Edna Lewis, who is rightly called the mother of soul food cooking, the queen of Southern cookbook cuisine. She published her first, Edna Lewis published her first cookbook called the Edna Lewis Cookbook in 1972, which broke ground, the first book to be published by an African American woman in the genre. As so, one thing I want to say about Edna before going to her second truly bestseller, if you will, right? Her second book is that she was born in the year 1916, and she was born in a community known as Freetown, Virginia,
Oh, what
and it
happened?
was a community that was founded by emancipated slaves. So you can just when we talk about road to legacy, you see what it does for a person just to be around resources, let alone activism, right? And freedom, if you will. So just on this top five Tuesdays, we want to shout out the Black Fact of Edna Lewis and realize that without her, I would not have been led to a sister, another sister queen by the name of Ursula Granger, 200 years prior to 1972. We are in the year, well, almost 200 years, 1773, where Ursula Granger is being bid upon like an eBay item or an auction block, right? Colonial eBay. And Thomas Jefferson wins out in this bidding war. And Ursula Granger would go on to be Thomas Jefferson's slave for 27 years until his death. And main thing you need to know about this sister queen, who was known as the Queen of Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's slave plantation built by slave labor, right? Ursula Granger is considered a pioneer of American early cuisine. Again, this is the late 1700s, early 1800s. Jefferson was known for putting on fancy, luxurious, affluent Jeffersonian dinners, which is still a thing today, where you assemble some of the influential leaders of the time and discuss politics, interesting conversations, current events of the day, and you are served exquisite food. Well, it was Ursula Granger who was making the cider that was getting everybody saucy, right? It was Ursula Granger who was the pastry chef that was pleasing everybody's palate for dessert. It was Ursula Granger, and it is Ursula Granger who is one of the pioneers of executive White House chefs, right? Because this is during pre Thomas Jefferson's presidency and during and post Jefferson's presidency. Okay. So that is our Black Fact for the day. Edna Lewis and Sister Ursula Granger, 1972 back to 1773. Women's History Month, Road to Legacy, Black Facts coming at you. Grace and
What's up?
peace.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Road to Legacy. Road to Legacy World, Road to Legacy House, the best
Road to
show
Legacy.
in the history of this nation. Here we are on Black History. No, this is Black History Month. It's past. Women Histories Month.
That's right.
Women Histories.
Get your
Women
months right.
Month, right?
Get the months right, man.
Is it
Women
history?
History Month.
History. Which one is it?
Women's History Month.
All right, Women History Month, and we're gonna do our top five. This is top five Tuesdays, right?
That is correct, good sir. We
All
have
right, all
a
right.
full
So,
range.
so the top five is the top five women in America that I feel. We're gonna go around the circle. We got to talk about the top five women that we all feel because we all love women. We like women. Women are good. That sounds like Trump. We like women.
That's good. That's good. Right. Thou dost protest too much.
Yeah. You know what?
Overcompensating.
We're gonna go with the top five, but one of my top five is Maya Angelou, right? Maya Angelou.
Keep going.
Yeah, thank you for the coaching, man. Hey, I
Hmm.
love it, Kurt. You the man.
Hmm.
You're the
I'm
man.
with you. I'm with you. We
Maya,
want to hear your list. Hmm.
we got Serena Williams.
Okay.
We got Harriet Tubman.
Okay.
What's that? Four?
3.
Three? We
Yeah.
got Mackenzie Scott.
I'm a math coach too. Yeah. Okay. Mackenzie Scott, you said?
Yeah, I like Mackenzie.
Um,
Mackenzie
is that
Scott.
Jeff Bezos' wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff
Okay.
Bezos is
Okay.
what's that? That's four.
That's 4.
And we got last but not least my girl Kamala Harris.
Okay. So these are the top 5 women that have inspired, educated, and influenced you.
Yes.
That Yep, the top 5 women that I inspire,
Yeah,
educate,
yeah, and
influence, or
it
create
varies
road
because
to
I
legacy.
like I got Maya Angelou because her struggles, right? She went through a
Hmm.
lot of different struggles
Hmm.
from being a mute basically when she was young. I know you know that, and when you read the Cage Bird Sings, it basically talks about her experience in Jim Crow, and and then she was sexually she went through so much to get to where she was. So
Right.
that was actually a really important thing to me. But on that same level, I
Hmm.
definitely have to put Mackenzie Scott in there. And the
Yes. Okay.
reason, I got to, man, because the reason why I got
Let's
to
hear
do
this.
that, and she's like really my number two. Mackenzie Scott is really my number two, but I put it down a little low because I love Serena
So you
Williams.
would put. Oh, so you were going in order. So Mackenzie would be after Maya Angelou for you.
Yeah, to me right now, yeah, she would be right after. And then you got I had to put Serena in there because 23,
Okay.
what's 23 or 24? I
And
don't
so
know.
now we're gonna get to sports goats later, top 5 sports goats,
Right, right,
but she's
right,
not going
right.
in that for you.
Right. And Kamala, she just blew up
Okay.
the scene with all the stuff that she did just did. But Mackenzie, man, let me tell you why Mackenzie knocked me out the
Hold
park.
on. So you have
Mackenzie,
Mackenzie, Serena, Harriet, Maya, and your fifth was Kamala Harris.
right.
Okay, got you.
All right.
Be sure. Yeah,
So
And
just making sure.
that's your top five. Kurt and I will go.
let me
Go ahead.
just say one more thing before I interrupt. One more thing and then we'll go on. The thing about Mackenzie and them and Maya and them and all that they all contributed like crazy, if not their heart,
Hmm.
their money,
Hmm.
a lot of their money and their time into all types of black causes. All right.
Yeah. So my top five is gonna be my mom for sure. Another woman by the name of Mama J. When I was in a group home, I consider her in my top five. She influenced me a bunch. I also have my wife in there. I have Oprah Winfrey and Fannie Lou Hamer.
Okay.
Is my top five.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get your mom's and your wife's name?
Oh yeah, my mom, of course, Roxanne Reed, and then my wife's name is Cindy.
Reed.
Cindy Reed for sure. But those are my
The Reed
top
mom.
five IEI inspirational, influential, and educational women in my life on Women's Month for sure. What
Yeah.
about you, Kurt? Who you got?
Love the list, fellas. My top 5. I'm just go like how y'all did one on down. My mom's for sure, Keisha Reed. Second would be Sister Soldier, the
Mm,
author. Third would be Nina Simone. Um, Fourth would be a woman by the name of Dr. Judith A.W. Thomas. And fifth would be, I'm sorry, I'm cheating, but all of the Reed women in my life, right from my grandma Sandra to Grandma P to Auntie Pat to Nunu and Kia. Shout out to all of y'all, to Nana, rest in peace, and Grandma B, rest in peace. Yep, but many a women, man, stand upon these shoulders. We stand upon these shoulders.
that's for sure. So Doc, tell us why your
Yeah.
top five, man? Who like?
Oh, that's how we supposed to do it. I didn't know how we supposed to do it. I didn't know
No,
how we supposed to do it. I got off.
It's all right.
nah, I mean, there's
It's
the
all
whole
right.
point of us
We're
prepping
supposed to go
before.
back
So
around in a
Yep.
circle.
Yeah.
you
We
just
prep.
forgot.
We even
You
spoke
No,
prepped.
about a little
I
about the
basically said
private
it.
chat, but you
I
ignoring us in the
basically said
private
it all.
chat.
That's the Alzheimer's. That's the
Yeah,
Alzheimer's.
you try to send him notes to the private chat.
In
He's
the pri-
completely
he
ignoring them.
ignoring us in the break. He
He
like, hold on,
prepped.
hold on, hold on. I gotta say what I gotta say about
Yeah, I
Mackenzie.
ain't see the. I
And
didn't
I
see
gotta
the
say,
private chat. Yo,
Yeah.
I
yo,
already said
yo,
it. I mean, what am I going to
yo.
say? I mean, I think that
Did you touch on all of them? Did you? I can't
I
remember which.
basically kind
Okay,
of touched on all.
okay,
I think the only thing I was wanted to say about Mackenzie,
yeah,
um, I did the Maya. I said what's up with Maya and the Cage Bird sings and all that stuff.
okay,
I tried to get. I was at Serena and her 23 wins, right? Because she was
okay.
amazing.
What is it? Grand
Uh,
Slams, right?
yeah, 23 and 14 gold. What was it? How many medals did she win?
Oh my gosh,
It's
man. Go
14
ahead,
gold
bro.
medals. Kamala,
Mhm.
because of all the stuff that she's done,
Mm-hmm.
short amount of time that she had
Mm-hmm.
during the time when it came to being a vice president and running for president of the United States and all that stuff. Mackenzie, because she gave over almost $1 billion to black causes. She gave over, I think she after she got the divorce with Jeff Bezos, I think she won like she received like 28 billion. But out of that 28 billion, I can't remember how much she gave, but she gave over 600 $900 million to like Spelman College, to like Blackbird Association, to like Harlem Children's Zone. She gave a lot of money to Morehouse College, to the Indians. She gave a lot of money. Xavier College. So, you know, to give away more than $1 billion to people, way more than $1 billion. I think it's 14 or 25 billion she's already given away to people without any return. That's why she's my favorite. And Harriet Tubman, you know what I'm saying? I like the spy part of her. After she did what she was doing, she became a spy. I like that part of her. And that, yeah, and I said it already. So y'all go ahead. Y'all give me the reasons why. Y'all love y'all women.
Yeah, well, for me, I put my mom on that list for sure, because my mom, you know, she definitely inspired me growing up as a kid, and just her story of struggle and resilience, from her being addicted to drugs, cocaine, you know, being an alcoholic for a little bit. And after I got put in the group home and my sisters left, she remained in Castle Hill, and she turned all of the things that she went through to positivity. She became a major community activist, and she always looked out for people in the community. And she showed me what a true leader is. And it didn't matter about her educational background. It didn't matter if, you know, she wasn't the most cleanest person in the sense of put together and put on this presentation like she had to be completely put together. She was broken. She put herself back together, and she gave her time, her life to the community. This other figure I have is named Mama J. Now, I had mentioned that I was in the group home, and while I was in the group home, you know, she played the mother figure for me. She helped to correct me when I was wrong. You know, she was loving, she was patient, she was kind. And when you go to a group home, for those of you who don't know, you don't have your parents around, and you need that person who's going to make you feel like you're at home, that you have somebody who loves and cares for you, nurtures you. I put my wife in there, Cindy Reed, because, man, when I met her, I was about 18 years old. And she basically helped me in so many ways, in the sense of not just being loving, but being patient, and not being so judgmental of where I was at the time. Because when we met, I was just about to leave from the group home. I was homeless for a minute.
You said you were 18 years old, right?
Yeah, I met her when I was 18 years old, man.
Wow.
And she was 20. She's 2 years older than me.
Gotcha.
And now, you know, I'm 44, and we've known each other all these years. And she has been my backbone, man. Like, seriously, she's been my backbone. She's been loyal. She's been honest. She's helped to bring structure to my life. And, you know, in all relationships, you have your problems and you have your conflicts, right? Nothing's ever perfect. But she has helped me to grow to where I am right now. And I'm super thankful for that. Oprah Winfrey is my number 4. Oprah, man. So as y'all know, I'm always curious, and we have the Road to Legacy podcast. So when we do interviews, I always want to know, like, this backstory. And so I put Oprah on my list because this woman, first of all, she had the highest talk radio show in the history of radio. She used to tune when her show was on, she would hit 15 million homes every single day. She created her own network. She came from a trauma background as well, an abusive household, and another testament of resilience, like how you can push through struggle to still reach your goal, and constantly curious. She would open up conversations and topics that nobody really wanted to talk about. I think she was the first one that I saw to do shows about racism, to do shows about religion to do shows about abuse at the time when nobody was really talking about that. I mean, you had Phil Donahue, but as far as a woman, a black woman on a major network television to just really touch in to those kind of conversations that nobody really wanted to talk about was huge for me. And
I
then
love how you have shared. Sorry to interject. Just how you
no, no,
shared a video from Oprah Winfrey. I believe you shared it. Her going down south, being down south, like in some area that hadn't had a black resident in like a century. And I was like, and this is a younger Oprah. This is Oprah I wasn't familiar with, honestly. And I know beloved Oprah, I know Color Purple Oprah, all that, right? But this Oprah here, I wasn't familiar with this journalist in her, the true journalist in her. And yeah, she had went to this town that was like, yeah, just pretty much it was a bunch of Ku Klux Klan members. And she's like, so now why do you think? And I was like, yo, you was real. You was yo. I mean, she's still real. Don't get it twisted. But I'm like, this ain't you get a car, you get a. This ain't that Oprah. This is like I
nah,
go anywhere Oprah. I'm like,
the
oh,
chunky
okay.
Oprah.
Yeah, natural, nice, filled out Oprah. I liked it. I liked it. I ain't gonna hold
Yeah,
you. It's
she
still
she
good.
just fearless, man. She was
Hmm.
fearless. She gave you
Hmm.
that journalism that was in your face, but also pique the curiosity of the viewer and open up the conversation.
Right.
Because at that time during the I guess that was like the early
80s.
90s, late 80s, early 90s,
Okay.
where journalism was different, especially coming from a perspective of an African American woman. Or there weren't too many of them on TV at that time. I mean, you had Donahue, Phil Donahue, who changed the game when it comes down to talk television,
TV. Hmm.
by having the audience interviewing the audience
Interactive.
instead of it being interacting with
Right.
the audience instead of it being the host
Right.
and the guest. But Oprah, man, she super powerful woman, man, fearless
Business
and
acumen.
her business acumen is
Hmm.
just crazy for her to create her own network. I don't know. I was trying to look back to see other women who've created their own network, and
Mm.
I didn't really find too many on the list, or any of that matter, on the list who have their own network. And no pun intended
I
of
don't think
saying
that,
own, which is the name of the.
I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any. I know Lucille Ball kind of did it because she
Mm.
produced Star Trek with Desilu, her and her husband.
Hmm.
But
I didn't know that.
I don't think they did Star Trek and a whole bunch of other shows. But I don't think it was a network.
Yeah, you said I didn't even know she produced. You said she produced Star Trek.
Yeah, she did Star Trek, a couple other shows out there.
Oh wow.
Nah, I didn't even know that.
Lucy Ball.
Yeah, Lucy Ball. And then my last one is Fannie Lou Hamer. Fannie Lou Hamer to me was super gangster, super vocal.
Body. Body.
She was about it. She was another fearless woman. Just leading the women's. She was a women's right activist. She was a community organizer, and one of the reasons that she's on my top 5 for Women's History Month too. She reminds me, or my mom reminds me of her in some ways in terms of like being a community activist. Because, like I said, my mom was a huge community activist. Spoke up for the people who didn't have a voice. Shedded light to situations that was happening in the community that nobody would really talk about. And then when Fannie Lou Hamer was doing it, it was all kind of racism. She got shot at she would get shot at, she would get beat up by police. Like, she really risked her life, and she was about that life, man. And she was also the leader of the civil rights movement.
One of the
So
leaders.
one of the leaders, right?
Mhm.
And so I give honor and big shout out to her, and that's why I included her in my top 5 on Top 5 Tuesdays.
Most definitely, King. Thank you,
Yep.
man. Both of y'all. Again, I'm in admiration of y'all top 5. Like you, my mom's is at the top of my list. Keisha Reed, who, for the viewers that don't know, this is my fellow brother Reed. He and I share the same last name, just with different spelling. He's an R-E-I-er, R-E-I-D-er. I'm an R-double-E-D-er, right? A little bit more purity to my game, my slave name. No, you stop.
Mine too.
But,
Mine too.
but nah, I say that to say my mother shares his spelling. Keisha Reed is REI, and funny story with that. How her and my father met, had the same last name, mad romantic, all that stuff. Ain't last, but gotta love them. But um, they love me. I'll say that. But yeah, man, my mother is just the most powerful woman that I know, man. Donna was there for one time. I performed a poem called My Queen Keisha. Uh, at my one of my former jobs at the museum. But yeah, I'm here because of her. Obviously, one half to the piece of my father, but we honoring women right now. So I I always am trying to give her flowers while she is alive and with me, and she's young. So I'm grateful for that too. But I'm just I have grown far more appreciative of my mother in my older years, or as my it's just as I'm growing and maturing and stuff, right?
Mhm.
My brothers got me a little bit, so I don't want to be saying I'm my older years into them. But uh yeah, man, you appreciate your mother and just the weight that she held from the womb to, current day. Yeah, my mom's is a big deal in my life. And I've gotten closer with her as my father passed 5 years ago. And I've just learned a lot more about her childhood. And so my appreciation grows more and more, right? Seeing how she came up and had me, before she even turned 18. And just the powerful executive that she is now in the fashion industry and what have you. I ain't gonna put too much more of her business out there. My second woman that inspired, me. I put down Sister Soldier. Sister Soldier was crucial for me, not just at a time of both these women that I'm about to name, not just during a time of like depression and making my way in both Florida in my early 20s and New York in my early 20s. Sister Soldier was an escape for me through her book series. You could say a coldest winter ever, but I started with a book series called Midnight, and I saw so much of myself in Midnight, and it was a great escape. And I'm usually reading like history books, all nonfiction and stuff for the most part. So this was a great mix up. The entire Midnight series by Sister Soldier, I certainly recommend it. Definitely that first book and that second book, it inspired me to travel. It inspired me on a business front in terms of how to look at different ways to generate income. Yeah. So Sister Soldier, shout out to you for that. My third woman was Nina Simone, and Nina Simone, for similar reasons, just from a musical standpoint, in terms of similar to Sister Soldier, Nina Simone was definitely there for me. I mean, I heard samples of her, but let's just say I truly discovered her in law school, which is like the beginning I felt of like depression days for me. And you could say Cinnamon was my anthem throughout my 20s and
Mm.
stuff. Right. I love Cinnamon to this day. Um, I have learned now through therapy that it can put me in a dark mood. So I'm not always listening. I got to be in a mood, right, to listen to it. Because it has a chant vibe to it. Where you gonna run to, right? YouTube shouldn't flag my vocals. So yeah, man, Nina Simone, powerful. Check out her documentary, What Happened to Miss Nina Simone. Um, the fourth I put down, don't get us. Uh, the the fourth that I put down is my beloved sister queen, Dr. Judith A.W. Thomas. I love debate, good people. I love public speaking. I performed at the national, blessed to have performed at the national level, in some speaking competitions while I was in college, and that that inspiration came from and that influence came from multiple sources. But Dr. Thomas is who honed and refined and challenged me directly in terms of my elocution, right? My enunciation. Just even when it comes to code switching, she says, "Yeah, code switching is fine, but you can't code switch if you don't know the code to which to switch." Right?
Mm.
She was a sister that, I mean, when I say movement, tall, nice, light skinned sister in her 70s that looked younger than us, bro, and stuff, right? Delta Queen, all of that. And she just certainly elevated my game, helped me as far as with speeches and pronunciation and grammar, all of that. Um, and yeah, that plays a big part in who I am today from debate and all of that. I also want to shout her out for just putting me onto the term interdental fricatures. When I'll be pronouncing things, just make sure you exercise your interdental fricatures. Like Dr. Tom, what is it? What's that? Come on now, put it together. Enter in between dental, your teeth, right? Fricatures and stuff. That's the thus and so basically make sure your tongue goes in between your teeth so when you're saying this, not this, right? That, not that, right?
Yes.
Pronounce that yeah. And stuff. So it's those things that definitely started putting some rigidity in me and discipline in terms of being careful and watching how I speak, a certain around whom I'm speaking. There's, I mean, one of the speeches I gave, man, was in like freaking Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, at a Mennonite church, right? And I'm a brother from Brooklyn, man, and stuff. So but I mean, they love me and stuff, getting claps from the handkerchiefs. But what about to say? The fifth is the fifth is the Reed women, and I just had to shout all them out because from my auntie Pat, who's in the room behind me, to my grandma Sandra, to my grandma B, to my cousins, and my stepmother Nana. All of these women played just the role of my environment, and learning black women, learning what it is for black women in their hair, right? Perming versus non-perming, and stuff, right? Even though it's a relaxer, but perm was the was the word that I heard coming up. You just learn a lot being around sisters, being around queens, and so yeah, I'm grateful for all of the women that definitely made me who I am, man. Uh, yeah, so that's our top five for women that inspired, educated, and influenced Road to Legacy.
Okay, so we got women now. What do we go on to, or do we move on to the next one? I don't know. I don't follow the script as well as you guys do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
This cat. We trying to create an order of the show, and you can tell who's not doing their homework, or who's not paying attention in class.
Or chooses not to pay attention.
I think the one we move on next is
That's when you're gonna start following the operations.
sports, right? Is that it? Sports.
Mhm.
Sports,
Now
because
we got we still in the serious half, or we still in the heavy half, or do we want to mix it up and go light for a little bit?
well, yo, that
Like
means we
that.
got to go to the presidents then, right?
Yeah, you ready? I know you itching to
Oh man,
talk.
see,
You are
the thing
itching to
about
speak
it is
about these
that
presidents.
the thing about it is that do Americans really love presidents, and do they really care about presidents? Well, we're gonna find out now. But do we
Well,
really,
the top five is
do
the
we really
top
care about
five
the top five
pivotal POTUSes, the top five pivotal presidents
pivotal
of the United States.
POTUSes?
Yeah, not ones whom you love. I mean, it could be your list to you. Maybe it's one and the same. Whom you love is the pivotal. But yeah, top five pivotal or important or impactful
All
or
right.
influential
All right, so
presidents
I'm gonna say
of the United
I'm
States.
gonna tell you my top five, and then
Yep,
after I tell you my top five,
you pass off the
then
lead.
I pass it on to y'all, and then I talk about why they're my top five.
Yeah, sort of like a
Right? That's how you
baton.
play the game, right? That's how the game is
Yeah,
played. All
cipher
right,
it,
so
cipher
listen,
it, Doc.
my number one is Bill Clinton.
Okay,
My number two is Ronald Reagan.
you're going in order, right? Right now.
You got to check me. You got to check
I'm
me because
just
I
curious.
think
I'm just curious. You
I
don't have
started
to.
thinking of it. I
Are
started
you go?
thinking of it. So let me go in order.
Okay, okay. In order, as
Number,
in
my
terms
number
of
one,
most
I'm going
pivotal.
in order. I'll read it. My
Okay,
number
most
one
pivotal.
is Jimmy Carter. My
Okay,
number two is Bill Clinton.
okay,
My number three is James Polk.
okay,
My number four is Kennedy.
okay.
And my number five is Barack Obama.
All right. And these are your top five most pivotal presidents of the
Yeah,
United
yeah,
States.
yeah. That's
Okay.
my, you know.
All right. My number five, my top five. I'm going from least to greatest is Andrew Jackson. At number five. At number four, we got Thomas Jefferson. At number three, we got FDR. At number two, we got Abraham Lincoln. At number one, we got Washington.
Mm.
Donald, off to you.
Up to me, there's not in any specific order. I actually had a hard time going through this. So I don't really have a top five. I got more like a top three. I got maybe top four. I got Obama. I have JFK, Jimmy Carter. I have Gerald Ford in there. And I had a hard time with the fifth one, man. I had a hard time with the fifth one because there's just so much controversy with these presidents. But my number five I put in there is Joe Biden.
Okay.
Old
Okay.
Joe.
Old Joe. All right. So we got your
Hmm.
top five. All right. Circle back.
I like the Joe Biden situation. I should have put Joe Biden in there. I like Joe Biden a lot, man.
Yeah, Doc. Spark it off.
Yeah, so the reason why I like Jimmy Carter
Mm-hmm.
is because of what he did after his presidency and how he showed the world what you can do with a man that had that much power as time goes on in his life. Also, I love that he was a nuclear physicist and that he saved this country from disaster. That's why I picked him as number one. Bill Clinton, number two, because he's the only president. I think he's the only president that left office with a balanced budget. He left office with a balanced budget and he had no deficit. The only president that didn't have a deficit and
He
left
didn't
office.
have he didn't have scandal though either, right?
Yeah, but what we're talking about is, it doesn't matter.
Pivotal impact.
It's not. It's pivotal. It's
We're
not
speaking
who's
about
the
impact.
favorite guy and who's the best guy and who we like.
But he did have a pivotal impact though.
Yeah, because he got a blowjob in the office. I mean,
I'm
that's not
saying.
the most important. That's
Easy
not,
started.
that's the most. That's not
I'm
the
a little late,
most
a little
important thing
slow.
that happened.
No, I know it's
Time.
not. It's not. It's
It
not.
was, it's not. It's
He's
far.
being immature. Doc, you ain't got to respond to this stuff. You're being
Yeah,
immature,
yeah.
man.
I mean,
You got
so
it.
the pivotal thing about it is him leaving no deficit, and and every president saying that they would do that, and no president ever did that, and saving money and all that stuff. The reason I said Lincoln because he's Abraham freaking Lincoln, and you agree with him or not, he's Abraham Lincoln.
He's your number three?
Just like George Washington. Abraham Lincoln is my number. Oh no. James Polk is my number three. Because
James K. Polk.
he helped expand America, like him or not, but he's the dude that helped basically expand this country into where we are now. And then it was Lincoln. Lincoln was my four.
Okay.
Right. Lincoln is my
Gotcha.
four.
And why'd you choose Lincoln again?
Lincoln, because he's Lincoln. He's Lincoln. He's Abraham freaking Lincoln, man. Everybody
Okay.
knows Abraham Lincoln. And for some people like him, some people don't. But he was pivotal when it came to those years that we were enslaved, and so forth and so on. You can like him and love him, agree with him or don't. And then last, number five. Oh, I got six, huh? Do I have six? Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton,
I definitely got a
James
candidate for
Polk,
six.
Lincoln, Kennedy. Yeah, I got six. I made a mistake. I got Obama last, and we know why we like Obama. Obama's number six, but number five is Kennedy, because Kennedy was one of the first presidents to support the civil rights movement. Not the Black Panther. I mean, not the Black Panther. I was going to say the Black.
Not Lyndon Baines Johnson, not LBJ.
No. I think it was. I mean, he was part of it. I think it was Lincoln and Johnson.
You was trying to go with the first one, though, right?
I think it was Kennedy and Johnson.
It was. I thought you were saying the first.
No. I was like Kennedy and Johnson, but I went with Kennedy first because it came across Kennedy's table first, and he was
absolutely
right. So he was the man that had to these things to do whatever he had to do.
Actually, Eisenhower wasn't doing anything,
and a lot of people don't get this part about it, but a lot of people don't understand. Even though he was a racist knucklehead criminal, Nixon was the one that kind of brought it to Kennedy's table. You know what I'm saying? Like when the whole Martin Luther King thing and the whole situation. But anyway, that's why I picked those guys. I'm an easy dude. I pick people.
Yeah. No, I dig it. Because these cats are so old, I'm gonna try to go easy like you, right? So simple one-liners for Jackson or Andrew Jackson, whose presidency is from 1828 to 1837. We still live in a time of Jackson to this day called Jacksonian democracy. He is the man who made it normal for the common man, if you will, right? Not one of the Virginia elites, but some cat from, I think, Tennessee coming and just, he is a war general. Don't get it twisted. He's a hero, but he was not at all considered, the first families of Virginia, anything like that. He wasn't like a Jefferson or any of the founding, quote unquote, founding fathers or founding sons. Right, but really founding fathers, that whole generation up until John Quincy Adams, right? They all could be considered elites in some way or shape or form. Mostly from Virginia, some from Boston. Jackson, Andrew Jackson is the first to, sort of preach and promote democracy for the common man. That we know when he's saying the common man, he is referencing the common white man, because his impact upon as a basically if you talk to certain Creek nations or Cherokee, excuse me, Cherokee Nation people, folks, the indigenous Native Americans look at him as the genocide, the Hitler, of their people, um, their main genocide. They call him the Great Devil, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Andrew Jackson, most certainly is a vicious one in our history. You've called him a thug, and that's, I think, rightly so,
Yes.
for sure. But like many of these characters in this colorful American history, no one's black or white, right? They
Right.
are often a mixed bag. And so when you mention James K. Polk,
Mm-hmm.
for him expanding the country, James K. Polk is an acolyte, right? A student of Andrew Jackson. He's a disciple, if you will, of Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson is and actually I'll just use that. We're talking about expansionism here as far as expanding the country. I'll use that to segue into my number four. Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson, is
Mm-hmm.
the first to truly expand the country, the United States, from just an eastern seaboard, 13 colony,
Mm-hmm.
nascent nation
Mm-hmm.
into a true powerhouse by acquiring that third of land, the
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana Territory, great time and all of that, right? So everyone is sort of following the core of Discovery Trail that Jefferson sent Lewis and Clark and a brother by the name of York and a Native American sister by the name of Sacagawea, right? Got to mention them too. But everyone tends to follow their trail afterwards or deviating. That becomes a major trail, though, right? The Lewis
Right.
and
Right.
Clark Trail expedition. So, but Jefferson is pivotal for many reasons. I'll just say because I forgot to give that one liner. Right, I went in, but let's just say again, number five, Jackson is the man who sort of first preached the democracy that we exist in today. That even gives the Trump an idea that I could be president too without having any political background. That's Jacksonian democracy. You can look that up.
Mm-hmm.
But segue it back to Jeffersonian democracy, which was about expansionism for sure. He thought that we'd be a more powerful nation. We needed the entire continent. But Jefferson is the one who is the chief promoter, marketer, ambassador of American liberty. He's the one who formed the words, right? Declaration of Independence. He's the most articulate, especially by the written hand, right? So he forms he's the engine behind the Revolutionary Army in terms of the Declaration of Independence being read out while being in one person encompassing both the theory of democracy and the reality of hypocrisy in this
Mm-hmm.
one president, the third president of the United States, right, from 1801 to 1809. He had, and even prior to that, right, well over 600 slaves in total. At any one given point in time, it could have been a third of that or less at
Mm-hmm.
Monticello, his slave plantation, which links up with the Black Fact or Ursula Granger, right, who was one of Thomas Jefferson's slaves. But yeah, at any one time, or I believe at the height of Monticello, there was about 250 slaves at one point in time on that plantation that built that plantation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jefferson, the apostle of liberty, as well as the apostle of American hypocrisy, I would say. You have to know him who created the words that founded this nation. Second, who did I have? Because that was third, right?
Yeah.
No, that was fourth.
Yeah.
That was fourth. That was fourth. That was fourth. Third,
Yeah.
third was FDR. Third was FDR. FDR. One liner for FDR is that we live in the world that FDR created today. So if Jackson is the one that sort of, made democracy accessible, right, to
Mm-hmm.
the common man,
Mm-hmm.
FDR is the one that literally politically built this world stage that we still exist in to this day. Social
Right.
Security, FDR, right?
Mm-hmm.
All sorts of progressive deals that you expect,
The New Deal.
Medicaid, Medicare, the New Deal, right? FDR and stuff. The United Nations, FDR. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
there's other folks, right? But this is the beginning
Trump's trying
of
to get rid of all that,
America. Exactly. And that's why he's an honorary number six. If Project 2025
right? Uh-huh.
succeeds, he's made it into the top five. Somebody's
That's
got to
right.
put
That's
Bob
right.
Jackson, somebody got to put he's completely for the negative and everything in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah,
what
yeah,
he's
yeah.
doing,
But you
but
got to put him in
you
there.
gotta
You
you
got to put
gotta
him in
throw him
there.
in there. Yeah, man. Don't be biased as far as top five pivotal.
You
But
got to put
yeah,
him in there.
so that's FDR. And Lincoln and Washington are a lot simpler. Lincoln, like you said, because he's Lincoln, probably second, I think, in terms of the books that are written about any one given figure, I think it's Jesus Christ at number one and Abraham Lincoln at number two. So that's how real that is. It's the right negative. We're just talking American literature, but or English literature. But Lincoln is who kept the Union together. If Washington is the man that formed and founded the Union in the sense of as a general, because who's going to be the fighter, right? You're going up against the most powerful nation, the most powerful superpower anyone's seen, Navy at that point in time. No one's expecting you to win, you little ragtag army, right? So who you gonna follow? There weren't too many men. Nathaniel Greene was one of them, but you needed a Virginian, right? Again, Virginia is the powerhouse of that day, right? Political powerhouse of that day. New York is, of course, Boston, all these other, but Virginia is the cradle for America, if you will. So Washington served that role, created the Union or founded the Union. It is Lincoln who kept it together.
So that's what's number 4.
And 3 out of my 5. No, that was number 1. I did Lincoln and I did Washington all in the same conversation. Yeah. I just want to say that 3 out of those 5 were slaveholding presidents. So the majority of my presidents are slave-owning presidents, and I think that's saying something in terms of
you gave the dates. So those dates, you have to be a slave owner back then. If you got money and you're gonna have a slave, just like you're gonna have a Mercedes Benz or Rolls Royce. Back in those days,
think of it.
Seeing that those cars, we were seeing in
Virginia.
Cars. Yeah,
in Virginia, what you say is true.
Yeah,
in Boston.
You got to have George Washington had what? And I think my mother used to tell me stuff like, our family is descended from George Washington's slaves.
Yeah, that's what you told. Well, yeah,
that's crazy.
Not what you. The Mount Vernon connection.
Yeah, that's why she did. Denzel Washington,
the Turner family, right?
The whole thing. Yeah, the Turner family. All those come from Washington slaves up on Black Mountain and all that other stuff. It's a long story with the Wampanoags. I mean, with the Blackfoots and all that. But the point of the matter is that he had how many slaves? He had like 300 slaves or 200 slaves.
Definitely well over 250. But
he was taking the teeth out of their mouth and stuff. Those times are those times. Those are the times. He didn't have a Bugatti. He had 200 slaves instead of having a Bugatti.
I would implore, instead of having a Bugatti, implore all of our viewers, though, man, to read up on some things around that time, some books around that time.
Planters.
History of slavery. Oh yeah. By
Susanna J. Everett. Back in the day, it was like he was the man. Well, he was Bugatti. You the Bugatti.
Yeah, man.
Of it all.
The clarity is that you didn't need it, right? Like in the sense of you needed it in Virginia. If you're gonna have at the end of the day, even we can talk about Anthony Johnson, but you didn't need it in. And why am I bringing that up? Washington's president number 1,
right?
President number 2.
Go talk, man.
John Adams. Don't be quizzing me. John Adams. John Adams is president number 2. John Adams does not have slaves. He is of the 12. Or I should say of the 15 presidents that precede Lincoln, John Adams did not have slaves, neither did his son, John Quincy Adams.
Right. Did he have money? Was he like rich like the other dudes was?
That wasn't his style. And
his style wasn't like
but
that.
He was, But he was all right, though.
I was like, I ain't really
and it's Boston. And it's Boston as well. Massachusetts and New England in general was a lot more abolitionist, if you will.
Yeah, but then you got right down to New Jersey, which was out of control. New Jersey was bad back in those days. New Jersey, Maryland.
So was New York. And also another thing about that, as far as that time, Jefferson, when he died, when a lot of his friends died, the Wales, the Randolphs, other aristocrats, if you will, of that time.
Right.
They freed their slaves in their wills. Jefferson did no such thing.
Yeah, Jefferson said, "No, I ain't doing that."
He didn't free Sally, the mother of 6 of his kids.
And he was
supposed to free her mom. She could have been free in France. She didn't have to come back.
And it was
came back. She gambled.
States did the same thing. Remember, Jersey was like, "Nah, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna." Anyway, Donald, what's up with your 3? You said 3 or 2?
Yeah,
I think he came up with 5.
Go ahead, Donald. What's up?
I was forced to come up with 5, man, because.
So, what's your 5 minus 2? Yeah, go ahead.
Go with it.
Yeah. So the first one on my list, I say Obama. 1, because he was the first African American president. Of course, that's huge for us. We never had a black president.
Damn right.
So when he became president, it erupted celebration throughout the world. And I remember that day vividly. I was going to work at the hotel for my overnight shift, and people were on the streets celebrating, like screaming in the streets. Everybody, black, white, Chinese, around the world. I never seen anything like that in my life.
Was music bumping? Was music bumping?
Music was bumping. People were celebrating on the streets, literally celebrating. I would think I was working at the Soho Grand at the time. I was doing my overnight shift. And I never forget just seeing people up and down the street screaming, some people crying. I've never seen so many people unified over a president in my life, the world. So he definitely goes in my top 5 for that particular reason first. And then secondly, the Affordable Care Act, which allowed so many of us to get insurance. If you have preconditions, a lot of insurance companies were not allowing you to get insurance or get covered. And he created Obamacare through that Affordable Care Act that Trump is trying to repeal right now. I think that it helped all of us out. Now, I can't say all of the things that he's done for African Americans, but those are my 2 reasons in particular that I chose Obama. The second one on my list was JFK. And it's for a similar reason with what Martin said. He was the one responsible for passing that 1964 Civil Rights Bill, which was huge for
LBJ.
Civil Rights Act, excuse me. 1964
LBJ.
Civil Rights Act.
LBJ. That's LBJ y'all thinking of.
It's two times.
It's 2 times it happened.
No,
LBJ.
go ahead.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
So just JFK assassinated in 63. JFK was assassinated in 63. Okay, so that's first the thing to orient you. And yes, a few bills passed. You had the Civil Rights Act of 64, the Voting Rights Act of 65, and then the Fair Housing Act of 68. But yeah, so it was a combination. It was a combination of acts.
But it came across this table, Kennedy's table first.
Yeah, it did. And then he got assassinated. So LBJ had to, and that's why in the movies like Selma and stuff like that, you see, I mean, not Selma. There's a movie I think called LBJ.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's called All the Way. There's a movie called LBJ, but there's a movie called All the Way where Anthony Mackie is playing Martin Luther King. And
I never seen that.
Going at it, pretty much you see him
right. All right,
coming at LBJ. Yeah, but I think he might be Selma in Selma too.
It's
clarity.
Yeah, thank you for that clarity, man. Because I did forget that he was assassinated before he was able to.
Right, but you were right because it still came. Go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have Harry Truman on my list, who was the president from 1945 to 53. The reason why I have him on my list is because he was pivotal in World War II. He was the first one to drop that bomb that shocked the world and was like, yo, we are not messing with America. Now, I don't agree that it murdered so many people, but he was pivotal to putting America on the stage. Because after that, like I said, everybody was like, yo, we never seen anything like this before. We are not messing with America. And then he also was a part of the Reconstruction era. Well, not Reconstruction in the sense of rebuilding America during the time where it was there was a major depression from 45 to 53. Am I just making that up?
You still talking about Truman, right?
Yeah, I'm still talking about Truman.
Yeah, you conflating him with.
Don't let the educator intimidate you.
Go ahead, Martin.
No,
Martin, break it down for him. Break it down for him.
No,
let me get on out of here.
It's cool.
Says something little. He moved and shifted his chair a little bit. And
I'm just stretching out this so.
It's cool. It's cool, but it's a correction. So we always try to inspire, educate, and influence people, right? So if I'm wrong, I'm gonna be educated, which is great. This is the whole.
Thank you, Donald.
I'm not intimidated, but
you don't mean you gotta go right.
He ain't gonna let you gotta go right.
Of course,
it's like it's like when you do the presentation in school and you going through your stuff and the professor look at you like,
you're like, what?
You're like, wait, hold on, let me check my facts. Is this right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Don't let.
No, I thought I read that.
You know what I'm saying? Don't do it.
I read that way.
But he did it. But Truman did oversee the creation of NATO, which also made him super pivotal.
Amen.
Yes,
And then
yes, he did. But just what you was talking about as far as the depression stuff, that was FDR. That's all. Truman took over right after FDR, but it was
he
FDR that yeah defeated the
that
depression,
helped
if you
to
will. Hmm.
bring us out of depression. And then Truman
Yeah,
came in and helped to continue the development of
of
that
the nuclear.
reconstruction. Um, Jimmy Carter. Martin had mentioned Jimmy Carter as well, but he did help with the inflation crisis that was happening during that time, and also the energy crisis and Camp David. He was influential in being a part of all three of those things that helped change the game in terms of being pivotal. Now, that was four. My fifth one, to be honest, I don't really have a fifth. I was going to say Abraham Lincoln too, because he was extremely important for African Americans, particularly. But yeah, I didn't write him down on my list, but he would definitely be in there. And that's all I got. I don't have official top five. I got a top
Let me
four.
go right back to FDR because since we're talking about this, so anybody who's watching this, I can hear about this, can pass this on or share it. Our podcast and what we do is if you have time and you are in the New York area, there's an area called Hyde Park, New York. Now, I would go up there. I used to live in Nyack, which is about 11 miles from the Bronx, New York. But I would go up to Hudson Valley, and all you have to do is get on the Metro North. It'll cost you like $15, $20, and you get on the train and you take it to Hyde Park. In Hyde Park is FDR's home, and it's the first presidential home built in America. And at that place, you can go out, you can picnic on the grass because it's right on the Hudson River, but you can also take a tour of the mansion and how he did his whole all his politics and how he was protected by his wife. His wife's house is like right down the street. It's also next to the Vanderbilt mansion. But the reason I mention that is because so many of us don't know our history. And, Curtis is the Black Packer who will be taking tours like that up there. But at the same time, you can actually feel what, Donald and Curtis was talking about when it comes to FDR and the things that happened back in those days, because they actually tell you and show you. And a matter of fact, one thing I didn't know is that FDR was afraid of fire. So he was one of the first, I don't think he invented the fire extinguisher, but he was one of the first people to have fire extinguishers in his house back in, what years was that, Curtis? Those were the years that he was president, was that
33 to 45,
right, so
1933
there
to
wasn't really a
45.
fire extinguisher. So on his doors, which is very interesting, on his doors, he have these big glass bottles on all of his doors that if a fire broke out, you can throw the stuff. He didn't like electricity in his house because he was afraid of fire. So he had a dumbwaiter. And when he had a physical, did he have polio, Curtis? I can't remember.
Yeah, polio, that paralyzed.
And he had to hide that sometimes from people coming from all over the world, other presidents. So they would sit him in a chair and they showed this chair in his mansion. And he used to pull himself up through the dumbwaiter. Now, a dumbwaiter, we used to have a dumbwaiter in the Dunbar, and we'll check out the history of the Dunbar because they didn't have that in the project. But back to what I was saying.
That's actually what the my aunt and grandma call it, the dumbwaiter. I always thought they was mispronouncing. I'm like, whatever. Just like they call it the Frigidaire instead of the refrigerator.
So the dumbwaiter is a way that you
all
don't
real
have
words.
to go outside. Later on, it was used for like garbage, but back in those days, it was used for food.
We had the incinerator. Don't worry about it.
We got the incinerator. I know. Right.
But we didn't have incinerator. We didn't have incinerator where you throw your garbage down this hole that goes down and it goes.
That's
gets shipped out. It used to get burnt back in the days, but before plastics and all that stuff came up. But we had a. How did
that work?
People who had a little bit of money had a dumbwaiter, and what they would do is they would put their food, they would fill it up. But FDR used to pull himself up throughout his house to his bedrooms and everything through the dumbwaiter because he couldn't walk, and nobody really knew that back in those days. But that's some history that you can attach yourself to. And Curtis will talk about this more. The stuff that he does is amazing, from downtown to uptown. But Hyde Park and all those places like that, Harper's Ferry, great places to go. Just immerse yourself inside that history and sit in it and say, wow, this is how it was back in those days. I've done it many times, and it's a beautiful thing. Now, we're going to move on to number 5. Our 5, The
Yeah,
GOAT,
yo, quick
greatest
fast
of
too,
all
man. Just on
time.
that last
Go
tidbit
ahead.
about FDR for you too, which was
Go
great that
for it,
you
brother.
went into that was because you asked when was his presidency. If y'all did the math, 1933 was the answer, 1933 to 1945.
Uh-huh.
And so that makes FDR to be the one and only president to serve more than 2 terms, serve 4 terms. He
Mm,
doubled that amount actually. Served
right.
4 terms. Of course, he
Right.
died early on
Mhm.
in his
And
fourth
he's
term
buried there too. He's buried there.
in Hyde Park. Yeah,
It's right
yep.
next to his mansion with his
Mhm.
wife in the
Yep.
rose garden. It's a rose garden that she built there. Yo,
Yeah.
it's one of the, I'm telling you, it's one of the best trips that I go on every time I'm up in New York. If
Yeah.
I'm even there just to see, just to hang out with my Road to Legacy family, I try to get to drive up to Hyde Park because it's just a beautiful town with great food and just it's just beautiful up there. And there's so much history.
Mhm.
Just like the cloisters and places like that. It's a great place.
Mhm.
It's a great place.
Yep. And it's Roosevelt family history, right?
Right.
Not just FDR. I
Those-
mean, yeah, mainly FDR and Delano, the Delano
mhm,
line, but Teddy Roosevelt too. You know, these are cousins. These are
mhm.
connected.
And you could
And
actually sit
mhm.
down. You could take your family and you could just sit down on the
Mhm.
steps or on the lawn because it's so big. And
Yeah.
then you take your way. You just there's so much history. Then you got the Vanderbilt Mansion. Then you got Norman Rockwell's
Yep.
house in Massachusetts.
Yep.
Only
Royalty is what you're
Mm.
naming.
20
This is
minutes
all
away.
New York royalty. Roosevelts are part of New York
Oh,
royalty as
yeah, that's
well.
right. That's right.
Mhm.
I mean,
He is.
it's just a great place to go check out. A lot of people don't know that it's just so easy, especially people in our community. You go to 125th Street, get on that Metro
Metro
North.
North Train.
You
Yep.
feel what I'm saying? You're
Yep.
in a whole new
Yep.
world in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
In 5 minutes, you're in a whole new world because you know
Sure.
that area on 125th Street is kind of cray. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the methadone clinic right there. You got all that
Right.
stuff, and that's where
Right.
everybody goes when they go, home from work, white and black,
Mhm.
come into
Mhm.
the city from work. But right
Yep.
there on 125th Street, and what's that? Lexington, 125th Street,
Yeah.
Park
Yeah. On the
Avenue,
east side.
Park
Yep.
Avenue, and Lex.
Yeah.
Park Avenue,
Lex. Usually
Lex.
by the
You
Lex.
get
Mhm.
right on that Metro North. You give the dudes $15, $20, and you're in a whole new world, and you're learning things, and you're free, and your heart is just it's just beautiful out there, especially now that the
Right.
weather's changing. Oh my God, you're in the mountains of New York. It's just beautiful and it's so close.
Right.
Don't do yourself a disservice. Take your butt out there and check out what we're talking about when it comes to this stuff.
And FDR, just I was saying that as far as the 33 to 45, 4 terms, he is the reason, his impact, the reason why we now have term limits, why a president can't serve more than 2 terms. Another thing
We're
that
gonna find out if Trump gonna try to get
Trump
rid
is
of
looking
that
to
too.
change that. Exactly,
So I
exactly.
ain't going nowhere
Hmm.
with his little tiny hands. But
But
go
it
ahead.
shows you how they had to write that, right? Codify that into law.
Right,
Just like
right,
so many norms, they finding out, oh snap, we can't stop Trump from doing this,
right,
can't stop doing that. Oh damn, that's not codified. Then so
right,
yeah, that
right,
stuff. If it ain't a law, he's gonna do it. If it is a law, he's probably still gonna do it.
right. You're right.
Crazy.
But yeah,
Well,
man, I like have fellas.
Yo, I just
Right
got
on
a
time.
question.
Great timing.
Why does Donald Trump, when he drinks water, he drinks it like that?
I don't know. I didn't see him drinking like that before. He's a baby because
I'm waiting for him to go. Ooh, ooh. I'm waiting for.
he don't like women, but he thinks that he's still suckling on the breast.
Yeah. No, he's hilarious, man.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
So Doc, we so guys, we're moving over to our the light half, right? Which is we're going to our top five
Right. So we
greatest
tried.
of all time sports figures.
That was
Top
kind of heavy. It
five
wasn't
sports
that
goats.
heavy. It wasn't that heavy like we usually go. We usually go heavier than that, but that
Mm-hmm.
was really good. I think I like that. We don't have to go heavy all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um. So I'm gonna kick it
You,
off.
you,
So
you go first, Doc, because you was
Check the
excited.
chat, y'all. Check the
You
chat.
were
no,
excited.
not really. I'm not really too excited about too many things, but we'll go with the top five. What sports figures are?
Yeah,
What?
your top
How you
five.
said? A top five sports figures. So my number one. I don't know if this is gonna be in order because I can't. I wrote it down, but I wrote it down kind of wrong. So I don't know if this is gonna be in order. So my number one, right? Oh man, I just can't. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm my number one. My number one was between.
Why don't you start?
It was like Wilma Rudolph, but then I said, nah. I got to chill on Wilma because
Why don't
I
you
like
start from your
Wilma.
number
She
five?
wasn't that a
Build
lot,
up.
huh?
Why don't you start from your number 5 and build up?
Oh man, my number 5 was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Feel me?
Okay. Okay.
And because he went in the back in the day. Oh, I won't tell you. I won't tell you what. I forgot. I almost went off script right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
Number
number
5,
one,
Kareem
Yeah.
Abdul-Jabbar. Number
my
4.
Come on, man.
My number 5 was Kareem. My number 4 was Jim Brown. You know what I'm saying? Running back. My number 3, Jesse Owens. My number 2. Oh man, this number 2 one was hard, man. My number 2 was back to Serena, I was saying.
Okay. I was curious if she was gonna make 2 of your list.
My number 2 was back to Serena, right? And my number 1 is Oscar Robinson.
Okay. Oscar Robinson. Okay.
I had a feeling. Man, loving some Big O.
Curry, who's your top 5?
My top 5 is Althea Gibson.
Okay.
Definitely almost a near tie between her and Serena, but I got to go with Althea first. My 4, and so Althea's at number 5. At number 4, we got Jackie Joyner Kersey. At number 3, we got FloJo, Florence Joyner.
Track. You like track?
Yes, I do. I love those women. Florence Joyner Kennedy, I believe. Excuse me, but I'm always calling her FloJo.
They were cousins or something. Go ahead.
Yeah. Through Al Joyner, through marriage or something like that. My second is Jordan. My first is a tie between Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson, not Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Robinson.
Ali and Sugar Ray. Okay, Robinson. Okay.
That's my top 5.
I met him.
Sugar Ray Robinson?
Mm-hmm.
See, man. See? They ain't have iPhones, I know, but damn. Needed that photo. Needed that photo.
Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson. Let me see. Sugar Ray Robinson. Go ahead. Anyway, go ahead.
Watch it be Sugar Ray Leonard. Go ahead, though. Go ahead, Mark.
Sugar Ray Leonard. My top 5 is the late great, not the late, but Bo Jackson, Serena Williams, Floyd Mayweather, LeBron James, and my last one is I'm a little bit torn because it goes between
do a tie. Do a tie.
Yeah, they definitely are a tie. I was trying to go different sports with my top 5s, but I really can't on this one because they both are my favorite. Ali is definitely in there for boxing.
Okay.
And then my other person that would be on my top 5 list, but it's a tie for top 5. They don't have any real civil rights background or history for the cause, but this is surely based on me being a fan of the sport and what I believe the achievements were while playing. I got to say my man, Jerry Rice.
Okay.
Wide receiver.
Dig it.
So
yeah, man, it's a sports coach. They ain't got to do civil rights.
I was wrong. It was Floyd Patterson. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's who you met. Okay.
I met Floyd Patterson back in the day.
I got you.
All right. So why'd you pick Doc?
All right. So check this out. So Jesse Owens, right? What was it? 1936. That dude right there, he was like, he made Hitler go, yo, I gotta go back on what I was saying, that the Aryan race is superior. Damn, I'm watching this brother just run up and down this field. And he's like, so I'm very upset and I gotta roll out. So he kind of showed the world that this is not all about, this Aryan race situation and how this man is about to take over the whole world. Because I didn't, when you look at the Nazi empire and how the Nazis ran, they went a long time, man, in power, man. I'm sitting here looking at, how people compare, Trump and all this stuff, hoping that it doesn't even come close to the Nazi power, the way Nazi ran something, because it went for a long time, man. It went for a long time. I think it was like 10 years, right, Curtis?
Yeah, about 13, 33 to
Yo, that's
45. About
crazy.
the
Just
same time as
imagine
FDR's presidency.
being under something
The
like
Third
that
Reich.
for 13 years. And they were all over the world, man. It was killing people, eating, tearing up people in Africa and rolling out. And this dude, Jesse Owens, she ran, did the bow, bow, bow.
That's the sounds that was made.
Yeah, that's what he did. Bow. He ran, busted.
Pow!
He was like, now, what? And then he was like, yeah, what? And Hitler was like, yo, I got to roll out. And they got pictures of Hitler rolling out from that. So that's why I love that brother. Kareem was up in Harlem one day, and there was a riot going on. And the riot was over this white cop had just shot and killed, which happens in our community, an unarmed black kid, right? And everybody was bugging out, and Kareem was like, yo, this is ridiculous. You know, I'm playing this ball, but there's no more shut up and gerbil. There's no more, even though they didn't say that back in those days, but there's no more, I'm going to stand up for the rights of just people all over the world, and including my people. So he went black rights, and then he went social rights, and he stuck with that through his whole career. That's why I love that brother right there. Oscar Robinson, out here in Indiana, the most.
Did you say Jim Brown too, or was that just Jim Brown you was just doing?
No, Jim Brown. You know Jim Brown. I love Jim Brown. No, I was doing the one I was just doing was Kareem.
Right. I just thought you were saving Big O for last. But go ahead though.
Yeah, I was. But why you directing? See, let me tell you once again, Donald. Let me tell you something once again about this educator. Do not let this dude intimidate you. You keep you know how horses got that thing on their face, so you don't look to your left. So you don't look to your right. You just hold it like this, so you don't look to your right or your left. That's what I gotta get. I gotta get blinders. Read blinders. All right.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
If I'm off, I'm off. But y'all get my point. The viewers get my point. Well, Jesus Christ. People that love this part of the Road to Legacy, the Marty Mark part of the Road to Legacy, will understand where I'm coming from. You're going to make me shift back to, if I did make a mistake, I made a mistake. So I'll just keep rolling with the mistake. Going to make me shift back to, I thought you were talking about, I thought with the heavy voice. Anyway, that's what you say. You know, you thought. I thought. What's the about, man? Want to put me in gear? Put some reins in my mouth?
Yeah.
All right. So he threw me off, man. Threw me off. But that's okay. I'm back on track. So Jim, see, now I don't even know what to say. Jim Brown. He was Jim Brown, running back. Worked in the hoods of South Central LA. I worked with the gangs, brought gangs together, stopped the violence in the area. I just told you about Kareem. He did the same basically as Kareem did when it came to Black equality and things like that. They worked together on a lot of things. But the thing I was talking about with Kareem was the thing that happened in Harlem when the riot was going on. And he said no more, and I'm gonna go ahead and deal with that. And then down to Oscar Robinson. Now I'm talking about Oscar Robinson. All right. There's a school out here in Indianapolis called the Crispus Attucks High School. And this school was basically the start of Black men playing basketball in the United States of America. And Oscar Robinson won the first fully Black team basically championship out here. And what he did is through that win, because that win made him famous, because back in the days, that's when the NBA wasn't famous, but high school basketball was on the level of pro basketball now, where 80,000 people would come, especially here in Indiana, would come out just to watch ball players play, especially at this school called Crispus Attucks. But he used that platform to go throughout the United States and throughout the world. He traveled overseas just to tell people, I'm not going to be playing unless we integrate this, unless we bring everybody together. I want the best players, white and Black, to come together and do that. And that caused so much change around the world. Ku Klux Klan hated him for doing that. A lot of other politicians, but he stood up and he didn't care about what was going to happen with his career. That's why Oscar Robinson is basically would be my number one. But, when I put these brothers and these sisters, because I love Wilma Rudolph also, into this whole thing, I just wish today that these athletes would do the same thing. I mean, the closest person that's doing anything that you can actually see happening would probably be LeBron James, that you can see on his level. I don't know about the people under him, but on his level, the only one that's actually kind of doing like maybe a little mustard seed of that, a mustard seed, is LeBron. Because Jordan, I can't put him, no matter how good he is, man, there's no way that I could put Michael Jordan on the list of a GOAT. I don't care, behind the back, all that stuff he did, behind the back, up in the joint,
behind the back.
all that crap that he did is great, but it's not great. It's just entertainment. And I think that all Black people, when they, especially that are in the public light, all Black people that are in the public light, that put themselves in, they have a response, no matter how some people say they're not educated, they don't know. When you're in a light like that, and you know that I'm getting pulled over by the cops, you know that my children are getting shot, you know that in the past we've been raped and chopped up and eaten, that, no matter where you come from. I just think that they should, have a standard to speak on things to free people, because they're coming after us, but they'll come after everybody else. But those are my 5. I hope I broke it down, because, the educating part of the dude, he the educating part of the podcast, he always got something to say sometimes, but that's all right. I can handle it. You know what I'm saying? I can handle it. Those are my 5. That's the reason why. Social justice is the thing that I think a Black athlete should be doing. Athlete.
Yeah.
Like Floyd Mayweather said, you ain't no athlete. You ain't no athlete.
The athlete.
Who's up? Donald? Who up? I forgot.
I think you up, Kurt. You up, Kurt?
I've abandoned all order. I have abandoned all order.
That's fine.
Okay,
I'll go. My man Bo Jackson. Let's go. Bo knows
Bo
best.
Jangles.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Last, I didn't save the last one.
Oh,
One more. I'm sorry.
Who's your last one?
Yo, Deion Sanders. That's it.
You said
Deion Sanders.
In the top
I don't
5?
remember him saying
No,
I think he added people in his explanation.
He just added.
I didn't. I said 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I said 4. I said Wilma Rudolph, but I didn't want to say Wilma, so I just said Deion. And that's
so you just throwing
I don't
Deion
have to know why,
okay.
because you know why Deion. You don't have to say why. Deion Sanders is the best.
Prime time
was the best athlete, I think, in the whole in all of sports. Number 1, and number 2,
Coach Prime.
What he's doing, Coach Prime. That's all. All right, Donald, go ahead.
Prime time and Coach Prime.
Go ahead, D. I'm sorry, I digress.
No, you don't need to be sorry. You good. So you said they go hand in hand to me. However, I think Bo Jackson,
Prime and Bo. Okay.
Yeah, Prime and Bo, they go hand in hand to me. The difference between the two of them is that Deion had longevity more than Bo Jackson.
Right.
But Bo Jackson, before Deion came along, it was Bo knows best. Bo Jackson is the man. He won Heisman Trophy in 85. Then after that, he went to the first round draft pick in 86 for the NFL. Then right after that, 3 years later, he got the MLB. He made the MLB All-Star team in 89. And he's the only athlete to become an all-star in the Major League Baseball and NFL. To be able to do that, first of all, to switch sports and dominate in a completely different sport, you don't hear about it. Jordan tried to do it. He was a horrible baseball player. And the only other person that I can think of that would be on his level, like I said, and like you mentioned, Doc, is Deion Sanders. But Bo Jackson was doing it before it was done, before it could be done. He led the way and opened the door to show that, not only can I kill y'all in football, but I can do the same damn thing in baseball, and y'all can't stop me. So he definitely made my top 5 athletes list. Serena Williams. What can I say about Serena Williams? First of all, the 2 sisters with the beads in their hair. There was other Black female players that really broke records in the game for being like the first African American woman to win a Grand Slam title. However, when Serena and Venus Williams came into the game, it was different. There were no real black players, women black players at the time that were dominating the sport of tennis. And what makes them so great is I got to give a big shout out. I know this is Women's Month, is our top 5, but I cannot forget about their father, Richard Williams. Richard Williams, Will Smith had played him in the movie recently, which I thought was a beautiful movie. But their father was a visionary. Like this man, people thought he was crazy. He walked into the tennis joint. He didn't have a tennis background. First of all, he taught them how to play tennis in Compton in the hood. He risked his life. People were trying to beat him up, shoot at him, clean up the court. This man walked into one of the top tennis coaching schools and was like, "Hey, I want you to teach my daughters. They're gonna be the champions." He had a vision like not, I can't say like Cleo, because Cleo was a lie, but his vision for his daughters was crazy. He was like, "Nah, you see Venus is dominating the game, but my other daughter Serena, oh, she's going to top and surpass Venus Williams." What made it so crazy too about their story, and I'll get back to why I put Serena on my list, is that their father told people before they were born that he was going to give birth, that his 2 daughters that were going to be born are going to be champions. Now let's go into her record a little bit. First, I'm going to start with one of the things that her 23 Grand Slam titles.
But Serena, we talking about Serena?
We're talking about specifically Serena, why she's on my top 5. Serena Williams, in my opinion, and was the greatest tennis player of all time. I'm talking about in men and women. This woman recently, I think, what's his name has the most Grand Slam titles right now.
Agassi?
No, Agassi. No, he doesn't even have that many Grand Slam titles. He's not even in the top 5.
Federer, Roger Federer.
But it was Federer, but it's Djokovic. Djokovic has the most Grand Slam titles right now, and I think he has like 26, maybe, something like that. But Serena Williams, she was tied to have the most Grand Slam titles. She had 23 Grand Slam titles. She won 4 major single titles: 2002, 2003, 2014, 2015. She also was the highest paid tennis athlete, and she actually was the one with her and Billie Jean King to help women get paid equally as men in tennis. Serena Williams was the highest paid tennis player in 2016 and 2017. So she helped break the barriers for like Coco Gauff, who is probably the highest paid female athlete right now. So I love tennis, y'all. So, I can tell you a little bit about tennis. Thanks to my father-in-law. Third on my list, Floyd Mayweather, best defensive fighter, in my opinion, of all time. I'm talking about through the history of boxing. He is the best defensive fighter of all time. He also is the only, well, this is going to be a controversial statement, but he holds the record for being undefeated, 50 wins and 0 losses. Gervonta Davis just had a fight a couple of weekends ago, which his kneeling down was kind of questionable. Was it a knockdown? Was it a knockout? Does it count? But there's nobody in boxing history in the last, I don't know, maybe 30 years. I mean, back in the day, they used to do like 20 rounds, and you had some 15. Great 15 rounds, right? Which is crazy. You had some great fighters from back then, but Floyd Mayweather is by far the best defensive fighter in boxing history. So he definitely makes my top 5. I don't agree with what he does and how he flashes his money outside of boxing and the abuse on women. I don't condone that at all. But moving on to my fourth. My fourth is LeBron James. Now, Martin mentioned LeBron James earlier, but I'm a big fan of LeBron James. His basketball game is cool. It's controversial because, if you compare him to Jordan, but the reason why I specifically put LeBron James on my top 5 is because of what he does off the court. His philanthropy off the court is off the chain. Like is the LeBron James Family Foundation, which helps out single parents, helps give them funding, help them with living situations. The foundation that he also has, that LeBron James Family Foundation, also works with the NAACP and funds against voter suppression. He also built the Promise School, which is an elementary school for kids, which I think is super dope. And then on the court, man, he's the only player that I know of. And I want to say the history of basketball that went from a superhero to a villain to a superhero again. When he was in Cleveland and he was holding down the team on his own, and then he decided to go to Miami.
The decision.
Oh,
nah.
was a game changer because he was the most loved in Cleveland, and then when he made that decision to go to Miami, they burnt his jersey, they dissed him, and he was holding down the team, Cleveland, for so many years, taking them to playoffs back to back, and wasn't getting any love. Went to Miami, lost the championship. Well, made it to the championship the first year. Second year, goes back to the championship, wins the championship 2 times back to back, and then goes back to Cleveland and wins the championship. So he's the only NBA player that I know of that, like I said, went from a superhero to a villain back to a superhero. And then last but not least on my list, after Martin is making his crazy ass faces, he must have took a hit of it's like the crackhead face.
It's like, what'd you go and do? What'd you go and do? He came back.
I'm looking how old I'm looking. I'm just looking old. But go ahead.
You're not looking old. You had the Denzel face.
Right. He wasn't looking in the mirror.
There's 2 things. You know what I was really laughing at? You know what I was really laughing? I was laughing at myself because you were saying that you both of you guys, when I was correcting you dudes, you guys were like, "Yo, we put it in the chat or something on the side," and I just a second recognized it
just now.
So that's why
he's like, "Oh, this is the private chat they talking
I was like,
about."
what's that? How come I can't get rid of that? But go ahead.
Yo.
Go ahead.
Nah, it's crazy funny. But the last but not least,
number one, or your last.
My number one. Mine's not in any order, but the last one, Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice, man, I used to be a San Fran fan when I was a kid, and when Joe Montana was the quarterback, and then it switched over to Steve Young. But Jerry Rice, man, he holds, first he won 3 Super Bowls. He holds the Super Bowl record of the most touchdowns. He made All-Pro 12 times in 20 seasons. He holds every NFL record and the most receiving. He doesn't.
He been doing that? With every stat you've been saying, he's been doing that. He's been doing that with all this.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Yo, Jerry Rice holds the most receiving receptions still in NFL history.
Was it 209? Oh, in total. What was it? 1600 and something? 1638?
Yeah, I forgot how much, what the yardage is.
No. The amount of receptions. How many is that? 1600 or something like that? 1638?
Something like that. 1,000 rushing yards receiving in 14 seasons. I don't remember the exact amount of
receptions record. You were saying receptions record, right?
Receptions record. Yeah. But he All-Pro 11 times. Like Jerry Rice.
Did you play receiver? Did you play receiver in football?
Nah, I didn't play receiver. I played. I was a defensive end and a fullback.
Okay, and Martin was a safety. All right, a couple defensive guys.
I was a strong safety, baby.
Fullback is offense. Okay.
He was strong safety.
I was a strong safety, baby.
Just under the title though, right? But it was the game was
whatever.
Third string.
I stopped him right down the middle. Dudes like you came down, act like they were strong, tried to hit me hard. I just grabbed them by their legs. And
what you had? You had a little Ed Reed in you and stuff. You slim.
Hell no, he had no Ed Reed. He was diving for the legs. He went for the easiest.
I went for the legs. I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna hit you in your head and bust up my head.
I'm trying to figure out what you doing at strong safety and everything. You're like 90 pounds soaking wet in those years, man. You ain't no John Lynch.
I was out there because Cathedral was watching. Cathedral was the girls' school, so Cathedral would come out. They had the cheerleaders out there, so that's when
Okay.
I was out
That's
there.
why he was. That's why he got that position because he could hang out in the back and not do much.
I had lotion on my legs. I didn't have grass all over my legs like y'all did.
Yo, I was not that good at football, man. I ain't even gonna sit up here and act like I was great.
But Lynn Swan, man. What about Lynn Swan, man?
Yeah, man, that's my man. 88, number 88, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Swan? That's why
Lynn Swan was smooth as a swan.
Right. Lynn Swan. What about Drew Pearson?
None of them touched Jerry though. Just I don't know if that's
none of them
why you're
touched
bringing
Jerry.
him up.
But Drew Pearson, man, yo, come
on. Yeah, all of that. But they ain't holding no records like that.
Jerry's the man, man. Come on, man.
I don't think Drew Pearson holds a record like that.
How? First off, he just named him as a GOAT of a sport, right? He didn't name a quarterback. How difficult must it be for a receiver to even be in that conversation? You don't get the ball as much as the running back or the quarterback who hasn't every touch. And Jerry Rice is arguably, there's many people in this camp that he's the GOAT of NFL history. And that's a wide receiver. That's why I'm just saying the impact. That ain't, he does not touch the ball as much as running or quarterback.
But when he did touch the ball, he was getting in the end zone.
That's right, man. I think he had 209.
He had two of the best quarterbacks. He had two of the best quarterbacks in the freaking NFL, man. Throwing that.
Or two of the best quarterbacks had one of the best receivers in the NFL history that they had an option, right? And of course, they had a whole core. Who's the other receiver that I'm not thinking of right now? They had a whole core. Forget about it. I'm talking about San Francisco. It was another brother too. I think Clark. Not brother, but a Clark. Vanilla brother.
I forgot his name, but
Clark.
Rogers Clark. Clark 87. He's a tight end.
What team?
He was nice. I can't remember his first name.
What football team has had the most black quarterbacks in the history of the NFL?
The Eagles? Vikings?
Nope. Oh, what?
Eagles.
Yeah. The most, and I can't. Man. And that's the only reason I like them a little tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't.
Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick. So Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick. I think Culpepper was on the Eagles too, right? I know he was on the Vikings. Dante Culpepper.
They had the most defensive end in the history of the NFL, and that's why I like them a little. But when I was a Giants fan, when it was LT there.
Yeah.
When it was those dudes, but I was still more of a Jet fan. But when I was a Giants fan, man, they used to kill the Giants. That dude Jackson, I can't stand that wide receiver Jackson. I cannot stand him, man. It's horrible.
Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, I can't stand him, man. I can't stand the way he looked. He's tiny.
The way he looked.
They're always throwing to him, and he always catches the ball in the time when the Giants are almost going to win the game, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I was a Giant. LT, I loved LT, even though he went through his scandals with that girl. He lived right down the street from me in Nyack, man. I mean, in Rockland County at my house when I was in Airmont area, Rockland County.
Mm-hmm. LT, right?
Me and my wife and my kids used to see him in the morning at the diner. He was best friends with the guy who owned the diner. And we used to hang in and sit and talk with him with the kids and my wife.
Yeah.
Back in those days, he was a nice guy, man. But once again, he had a lot of controversy, and he's a Trumpster and all that other stuff. So it's but I still got his jersey. I still got my LT jersey.
Yeah, and it's for reasons like that. I ain't really got much patience for Giants fans complaining because as a former Jets fan and all of that, it's just like, bro.
But I'm a Jet.
20 years prior to my birth, the last freaking time they held the Super Bowl, Broadway Joe Namath. And
yes,
I'm always gonna be a Jet fan. Joe Klecko, Mark Gastineau. I'm down with the Jets, Jets, all the way, every day, nonstop. Jets is going to take it this year. We about to get my quarterback. We about to get. I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna let y'all. We about to get the man. We about to get a good. We about to get. I'm gonna give you a hint. Pittsburgh Steelers. We about to get it. We about to get it. I'm excited.
I'm out of date. I
don't even know what you're talking about either.
My first. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna date myself, y'all. I'm gonna date myself real quick.
You jumping?
I don't know how much time. Listen to me. I'm gonna date myself.
We good. We got some time.
My first Met. This is why I'm a Met fan. I'm a Tom Seaver fan too. I was gonna put him in my list, but but I know y'all would have got on me with that. Tom Seaver. I was gonna put Tom Seaver on my list, but I know y'all would have messed with me.
Tom Seaver and Larry Sonka, right? Go ahead though.
My first Larry Zonka. Tom Seaver was a pitcher. Larry Zonka was
Okay.
football, man.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
And he wasn't even anyway. My first Jet game was in Yankee Stadium in 1974. Jet game. I mean, my first Met game was in 1974 in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I was wondering how the 100-yard.
Yeah, right. That's not too. I know y'all ain't too excited about that. I know Donald's getting tired and all that stretching and stuff like that, right? But my first Jet game was there, and my first Jet game was the next year because they were rebuilding Shea Stadium. So we lived next. I lived on 149th Street, right across the bridge from Yankee Stadium. All 5 blocks, maybe all together. We walk across the bridge. I go see my Jet and my Met games. And that's why my mother was a Met fan, because she said that the Yankees was the last team to give, was I think the second to last team or the last team other than Boston to give black players a job. The Yankees would let you play on their team if you was black. And they said that, what did she tell me? It wasn't Yogi Berra, but who was the other guy? The guy who used to have the rope in his pocket as a souvenir, Ty Cobb. They say they used to say that Ty Cobb had a hangman's noose in his pocket for good luck, and he would rub it whenever he was playing. So my mom's hated the Yankees.
What was that about?
I don't know. They said that he had a souvenir of a hangman's noose, a noose in his pocket. That's what they said. But then, she kind of liked Babe Ruth. She was the first one that told me that Babe Ruth supported what's his name? Supported
Jackie Robinson?
No, not Jackie Robinson. Kurt.
The Negro Leagues?
Yeah, he was a big supporter of the Negro Leagues and tried to tell people, if you really want to be challenged, then you'll let black players come in here, because I ain't never seen black players hit the ball. I thought I was the best hitter, but there's no way that you can get this ball past Satchel Paige. That's what he said. Something like that. There's no way you're gonna get.
Speaking of which,
that was what's his name?
We got the last but not least, Curtis. You didn't get to your top 5s, man.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, man. Dang.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I know your top 5.
If you could,
I can't wait to hear this.
I'm gonna go run to the restroom.
Solo screen.
I've been trying to hold it and stuff, but I'm gonna go to the rest of the restroom. Yo, if you could just talk about the game that you was at and what they were talking about with LeBron versus the Knicks, what be going on, and I'll be back.
Oh, versus the Nets.
LeBron versus the Nets. My fault. Yeah. Yo, you can take me off screen for a second, please.
All right, Curry's gonna be back.
How you gonna take? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So last night I had the honor to go to the game. Chris hooked it up, man.
Okay, right.
Got some tickets for me, him, his son, my 2 kids, Noah and Layla. First game.
Mm-hmm.
Sat in a suite.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say something before I get to the game. Barclays, this is to you, Barclays. How they be ripping people off. So Chris got tickets to the game. It wasn't a suite. We walk up, we go sit in there. Now on the ticket, it says that this is your assigned seat. You know how it go when you go to it says this section is assigned seat. Well, the thing about when you buy a box and it says the assigned seat, let's say it says seat number 12, there's no seat number 12. They have 2 rows that go from 1 to 6.
Uh-huh.
And then anything that's outside of that, that's 12 seats, right?
Right.
It says on the ticket that the seat's supposed to be assigned. There's nobody assigning the seats to you.
Right.
The rest of what's on the ticket is standing room only. So you pay for the box. You pay like $900 or whatever, $1,000 for a ticket. You get into the box, but you don't have a seat. So we're in there, and there are about 12 other people, maybe 14 people. It got crazy with the seating arrangement because, like, yo, my ticket says seat number 12, but there's no number 12 on here. There's nobody directing you to assign you to your seat. And then how they get you is they say, hey, you order food. It's not like you're ordering one thing. When you order something, you got to order like a platter. It's for like 6 to 12 people. You can't order one drink. You got to order a whole bottle.
Right.
So now when you get in there, you order this food, there are other people coming in now. So you got to monitor your food and shit because when they walk into the store, they think that it's already catered.
Oh
And it's
wow.
like, no, I pay. This is our stuff over here. We paid for that. So you got to have a security guard on your squad watching the food. Like, yo, this is not for you. We paid for this. Those drinks over there, they're not yours. They're not free. They're ours. So they get you, man. They get you. So be
I think that's a
careful
New
when
York
you
thing. That's a New York
yo,
thing, man. Because out here,
hustle,
it's
man.
different. Out here is
Hustle.
different. Out here is different. Totally different than that. I mean, you get the. Well, I don't know. We never had to buy the suite, so I don't.
Exactly, because you know the owner.
You
So it's different. You ain't got to pay for nothing. Your rooms come like that.
Like you said, there's 12 seats. There's 12 to 15 seats in the box.
There's only 12 seats. It's 2 rows of seats from 1 to 6.
Right, and then what we do, we go in, but like I said, we got the whole thing, and the food is there, and then nobody's coming in to mess with the food. You know what I'm saying? And they got a guard at the door like that.
Yeah,
That's New York, though. That's New York. I'm sure
New York is different, man. It's a hustle, man. They hustled us, but we met some really good people, though. It turned out to be a nice night. But LeBron James didn't play, man. And I'm a huge LeBron James fan.
But was he sitting on the bench?
He was sitting on the bench.
Oh, good.
Because he said he had a groin injury or something like that. But so he didn't play. But it was a good game. Brooklyn brought the ruckus, man.
Oh, they won?
Yeah, they won. It was a tight game too. They won by like 4 points or something.
Oh, that's good. That's a good game.
Yeah, it was a great game all the way to the end. But Kurt, what's your top 5, bud?
Yeah, man. Top 5. Who I named Althea Gibson, right? Althea Gibson is major. Y'all have definitely given Serena her flowers. So who, she paved the way for Coco Gauff, right? Serena Williams and Venus Williams, who paved the way for them is Althea Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
Althea Gibson, I believe, was born in 27, but she crossed Althea Gibson, so we understand, is the Jackie Robinson of tennis. Mm-hmm. Female Jackie Robinson of tennis. She broke the color barrier in 1956. She was a phenomenal player. This is at a time, though, where you may break the racial barrier and yet not be given opportunities or allowed, to have the matches that you should be having. But she did win she became the first black woman to win, or first black person in general, man or woman, to win a Grand Slam. That was in 58 or 56. Mm-hmm. It was 56 when she broke the color barrier, 58 when she won her first Grand Slam. But yeah, she struggled, man, financially. And this was because of not just racism, but sexism, right? But she struggled far more than she should have. She should have had far more sponsors and advertisements, and she sought to supplement her income and switch to a different sport, right? And that sport was golf. So we brought up Bo, right, and his skills, his athleticism, going from baseball to football to baseball. I don't know if he went back to football. I think he did. Prime definitely did that, right? Deion Sanders, football, baseball thing. Y'all know Jordan is on my list later on. He did a basketball, baseball thing. LeBron, please, right? He could have played receiver. That's a scary receiver, man. 6'8", 250 and stuff, man. Like, that's scary. He ain't gonna have no 20-year career in the NFL.
Nah.
He's been like 2. He's been broke down.
Right? He said
maybe like 2.
Yeah, man, big dude. One of my favorite receivers, man. Megatron. Now that was a big cat, 6'7". He's around a similar frame to LeBron, Megatron, Calvin Johnson.
He's thicker than
Yeah. But go across the middle. That's what I used to love about him. Going across the middle, getting that, man. I'm a former wide receiver, y'all. So just that's my thing. I could talk that all day. But Althea Gibson was just heavy. I just wanted to put out who was the forerunner and groundbreaker, barrier breaker, shatterer in tennis and in golf. But so Tiger Woods stands on Althea's shoulders. There are other definitely black golfers as well, but she struggled in that sport as well due to discrimination and racism, not athleticism. She had all of that, and she had it in tennis as well. Arthur Ashe, I believe, about maybe 7-8 years later, would become the first black to win. I forget what his accolade is, but he also stands upon Althea's shoulders.
The first Grand Slam. I think Arthur Ashe did.
What's the other things they have? Because I don't know if it was her who won the first Grand Slam, right? Yeah.
He's the first man to win the Grand Slam.
Okay. Thank you.
I think.
Clarification. Well, one of y'all look that up. So, my
What, Paul
next,
to ask?
just to break down, yeah, what was his like sort of primary, his first accolade, not like just in terms of Grand Slams goes or opens or what have you, but who did
We were
I
talking about
mention for
U-
number
we were
The
talking about
four?
U.S.
Theodore.
He
We were,
won U.S. Open
It was the
1968,
Open. It was the Open.
Wimbledon in 1975, Australian Open in 1970.
in a
It was
Grand
the
Slam.
Open.
Yeah, that's the Grand Slam. U.S. Open's Grand Slam, Wimbledon's Grand Slam, and the
First one, yeah.
Australian Open's Grand Slam.
And we were talking. Gibson won the. We were talking about Theodore Roosevelt. Were we talking about Theodore Roosevelt early? No, we weren't talking about Theodore.
Nah. She won the Grand Slam though. She's the first black person to win the Grand Slam.
Yeah, and
And
he's
Arthur
the
Ashe is
first
the first
black
black
man to win a
man,
U.S.
which is what
Open,
Martin said.
Wimbledon, or Australia Open. He's
Yeah,
the first.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
he's the first man, and she's the first woman, right?
yeah,
Is that what
yeah,
And
yep.
she's the
right.
first. She's the first. Period. First black person. Period. Man or woman.
Yep.
Just to
Yeah,
be clear,
absolutely.
Althea
Just to
Gibson.
be clear. Yep.
Hmm. All right, Martin, looking for a rebuttal. My fourth and my third. My
I'm
fourth and my third. I'm gonna say them together.
I'm trying to understand
Um,
it. Go ahead.
he's
Why
like,
are
you
you
got it
doing it?
wrong. Don't depend on Wikipedia, man. Things get a little tricky. All right. I gave shouts out to FloJo and Jackie Joy. I butchered, I believe, FloJo's name. Sorry about that, Sister Queen and good people. But yeah, Florence Joyner, her middle initial, Florence Griffith Joyner.
Kersey, right?
No,
Kersey.
that's Jackie Joyner. That's Jackie Joy. Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Okay.
Florence and so FloJo and Jackie Joy are related by way of marriage.
Uh-huh.
Jackie Joyner's marriage to Al Joyner, who was also an
Coach.
Olympic gold medalist long jumper.
And her coach.
Right. And her coach. There you go. Thank you. Yes,
I
her
remember
coach.
some things.
I
I'll have to
appreciate
look at Wikipedia.
it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. But both of them were so dominant in the 80s. I didn't catch them on TV. I've seen videos now and stuff, right? But I didn't catch them on. I was always into I was always into racing as a kid in general. And so while I could have named Maurice Green and is it Maurice Green or Marion Green? I could have named
Marion Green. It's Marion.
yeah, Marion
Sure.
Green and there's a few other, just like I mean, Usain Bolt was one of my favorite runners too. Don't get me wrong, but Carl Lewis could have named the fun. I love that you went in on Jesse Owens, man, for all the reasons that you touched on him, especially defeating your old Aryan ideology, right, of white supremacy. So I just whooped all y'all. And one funny thing or one interesting fun fact about the whole Jesse Owens thing. Side note is that the dude who came in second, right, broke the record. We just don't know his name because Jesse Owens also broke the record and just broke it better, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that man, we do know that man who came in second. We know his brother's name. His brother broke the color barrier for baseball, Jackie Robinson. So we're referencing Mac Robinson, who came in second,
Mm.
broke the record, but he would not get any of those endorsements that Jesse Owens got. He would become a janitor, actually, and stuff, right? And not ever get that acclaim status. But little fun facts and interesting facts, I should
Mm-hmm.
say.
Wow.
But yeah, these sisters, I just love them though, and since of they are still world record holders. I believe it is FloJo, who's the fastest woman recorded ever. It is Jackie Joyner. No, let me not, cause see, I'm always construing these sisters' names, and I don't want to do that to them. Okay, so it is Jackie Joyner, Jackie Joy, who was considered. I'm just looking for that fastest woman ever. Who's the fastest woman ever? But both of them were multi-gold medalists, bronze medalists, Olympic medalists in general.
Was it
Um,
Wilma Rudolph? Was she in there? Remember, that was one of the people that I wanted to be.
long jump, yeah, and that's also there. She's in that family, I would say, right? She's the long jump record holder, Wilma Rudolph. But Jackie Joy is in that too. So they were what they call it, a heptathlon,
No, I don't
which
know.
is multiple events, basically, right?
Hmm.
From the 400 to the 200,
Is that what
right? From
Bruce Jenner
long
did?
jump to vertical jump. Yeah,
Who?
he did the jump. He was good at the jump,
Bruce
Bruce
Jenner.
Jenner.
Yeah, he was good at the long jump.
Yeah, yeah, man. But no, I've always just loved runners. I've loved runners, and these sisters, I have just watched a lot of their footage, and just on a carnal note, I'm into legs, thighs, all that stuff.
Oh,
Shikari
got you.
Richardson.
And that's what I was going to ask
Um,
you. Why you like Zach and Journey Kersey and the other one? Because they had long fingernails and long
Lawrence
thighs.
Griffith Joyner. Ain't nobody say nothing about the fingernails. Why you gotta make me a weirdo?
Why
Why
do
you
we
make
have
me
to
have to?
sexualize? Why do we have to sexualize everything?
It ain't gotta be about that. But I'm telling you, when I'm looking at Shikari, I'm looking at her beauty, right? I'm looking at them thighs, the toe nation. We spoke
Oh,
about
she's
Tina
skinny
Turner.
like a guy. She's skinny like a chicken.
Shikari,
What?
what's wrong
The
with
new
you,
girl,
man?
the new girl
Here you
running
go
right now.
again. Here you go again. Nope, nope. You ain't gonna let you divert this conversation into
She's
bashing,
skinny.
figuring out some way to bash her sister. And she's skinny.
She
No,
is.
You
she's
She's like
fine.
skinny. You skinny,
chicken
man. And
skinny. Chicken
I don't
skinny.
know.
Man.
anyways,
Chicken skinny. Come on, man.
yeah, man. Nah, but
She's
I love the
fine, man.
tonation and the
Yeah,
thighs, man, and
whatever.
just anything to make us watch the sport. But no, please, have you ever seen some of the like baton run? It's some things that just look so smooth, and the sisters just be having a grace to them. The women just be having a grace to them when they're running. That it just often a little bit more. I don't know. It's entertaining to me.
Women's
But
track, women's tennis is much better than men's. I like watching it better than men's stuff.
mm-hmm.
But Shikari is
Yeah.
so
I
skinny.
I
mean,
wonder. I wonder what some of your carnal motivations. Anyways, yeah. Go ahead,
Barry
Donald.
White.
Right.
What did he say?
Yo,
He said something.
you about to say something, Donald? Though?
He
I
said
said
something.
Barry White.
Oh, see.
Okay.
His carnal
But all right, let
motivation.
me get to my last two. Really, I should say three because number
Yeah, I
one
want
is
to see a
number
big
two.
Barry White one
So when it
track.
came to Jordan, Jordan, I can't help but put that man in the GOAT. I mean, I grew up on NBA Jam, y'all, with the ball caught on fire in the video game, right?
Right.
He's
2K,
heating
all
up
that,
now,
yo.
brother. I'm on
He's
fire.
heating. Yo, Jordan is stupid impactful in the sport of basketball, man. Cats wear shorts to their knees now. Who started that? Jordan. It would have been still the poom pooms pre-Jordan and everything, man. Them high rises. That's what Cats was wearing, right? The kicks, the
Converse.
first dude, just as far as entrepreneurially thinking different. Now, don't get it, you already know, just so that I'm clear, right? Everything that I'm speaking about him on has nothing to do with a social justice cause. He is the last man. I look forward to him being in chains in that regard. But outside of that, right? Just in terms of on an athletic note and stuff, right? The man is the greatest when it comes to killer instinct and Mamba-like mentality. That comes from not Kobe. Kobe's,
That comes from Jordan.
blueprint off of Jordan. Like,
Facts.
yo, I'm winning this. Now, LeBron, I love him, right? There's only one time in my little contrast comparison I'm gonna get with this and stuff. I think LeBron definitely has earned his position in this conversation off the strength of longevity domination, if nothing else, to dominate for as long as he is, let
Yeah.
alone all the other things that y'all have brought up from a business and philanthropic standpoint. But so when it comes to killer mentality, clutch mentality, like
That's
I want
Jordan.
the ball, I'm gonna take over. Yeah, LeBron, the one time, not one time, but the first time, and where it made me proud, like hype and stuff, where I saw what I was looking for personally from LeBron as a just a when I was really into my fan of basketball days, playing 2K all the time. It's like, yo, bro, you are the younger super team versus the older super team. I'm talking about the Boston Celtics. I think this was the second time they went against them in Miami, right? Miami, they had lost game 5. It's like, what you doing, man? You passing the ball at the last minute? I see you're a cornball. How you letting Paul Pierce? And I love Paul Pierce. But how you letting Paul Pierce do this? To you? Yeah, man. See, you're not ready. You ain't got it. Something is missing. Game 6,
It's
this
a wrap.
man went off. Yeah, this
Wrap.
man went off. And I ain't even talking about on the points. He had 22 points and like 20 assists, right? But he made sure that his team won by 40 because everybody was like, yo, he ain't the dude to come in and drop 40 on you like Kobe, or Jordan would. He came in and made sure his team dropped 40 on him, basically. So that I'm always giving him his praise for and stuff, but just it's been too many a times. And for me, more than less, where he is not being the king, bro. Like, take over right now. And if you, for as many times as you've been to the chip, I need you to have won more than half of them and stuff. And I think
Well,
that
he used to
he's
do that when he was on
one,
Cleveland.
maybe.
When he was on Cleveland,
Yeah.
the team, he took over all the time because nobody else was scoring. He had to do all the work. He had to be everybody, the center, the forward, the shooting guard, the point guard.
But didn't he have what's his name playing
In Cleveland?
Kyrie. Kyrie. When he came back to Cleveland, he had Kyrie.
Yeah, when he came back to Cleveland. But before that, it was just LeBron James, man. He literally carried the team on his shoulders. He
And
was
Andre Varejao.
Yeah, Varejao.
I'm just playing. Carlos Boozer. No. None of these
Nope.
guys. He ain't had nobody.
He had nobody.
But
That's so you know, and sorry,
He
I don't
came
mean to
back. It was
go
Kyrie and Kevin Love. You good? You good? You good?
yeah, you know, that was, but that was why he did. And then after that, he was just like, yo, it's team ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And just one quick thing on LeBron to connect with something that you had said about the decision, right, with him. And mind you, it's Jordan that's my favorite, but I'm spending more time speaking about LeBron, right? So it shows you his impact, just to be clear. But LeBron, I just want to shout out Kurt Flood because LeBron, that decision he made is upon the shoulders or the road to legacy of Kurt Flood, who I would say was our main fighter and advocate for free agency during the 50s,
Yeah.
60s and stuff, Kurt Flood in baseball, which transcended to pretty much all American sports where players have more power now, more agency, right? But yeah, man, Jordan, I was just bringing up just the business side as far as, kicks. Now athletes have a sneaker now. That's Jordan.
And
So
that was
just in
because of
terms
his,
of, yeah.
and that was because of his mother.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you saw that movie? Is that in the movie Air or
Yeah,
is it somewhere
yeah,
else?
yeah.
Okay,
His
because I ain't
mother
even see
was
the
the
whole movie,
one
but I know they was
who was
pushing.
like, nah, we
Yeah.
don't want to just a sneaker. We want a percentage. We
Yeah.
want
Yeah, man.
ownership. His
Yeah.
mom. Shout
Yeah.
out to Jordan's
Yeah,
mom
man.
for that. But
No, nobody's ever really had a run like him, in my opinion. Really like take this city as his. And that could be, subject to recency bias. I know Bird and Magic and all those cats. Big O, shout out to you, man, for bringing up Big O. Oscar Charleston, the triple double threat, and was the king of that for the longest. But yeah, he definitely innovated the game as well. And yeah, man, Jordan with the free throw dunk, bro. Just like doing different stuff. Free throw line, like, yeah, these are just things that modern basketball still is built off of that, as far as in my opinion. But yeah,
who's your
and
fifth?
just my last is Ali, or my first is Ali, and I have him tied with Sugar Robinson, Ali, because we say things like GOAT because of Ali. Just to be clear, the greatest of all time, man, who said, "I am the greatest," right? And he was both in the ring.
LL Cool J said he even one who created that. I'm the
He
greatest.
didn't though. It was
Yeah,
Ali.
yeah, right,
You need
right,
to be
right.
quiet.
And
Ali.
so Ali, man, was my man, man. I love Ali. I mean, I could speak on him all day. I love boxing history in general, but Ali is the greatest in the ring and out of the ring for standing up for not just spiritual Islamic beliefs, standing up for, I ain't going to Viet Cong. Ain't no Viet Cong ever did nothing to me and stuff, right? It's you right here trying to kill me. You my enemy, right? You my oppressor, right? That's Ali. And so I do my get my
Yep.
impression going, but um, and always held it down for us. I mean, I can show you interviews, man. You can look up a channel called Rainy Day Boxing, and you see interviews of Ali just challenge a young man that ain't got no confidence on a talk show and give that man confidence, in front of everybody in the talk show and stuff, right? Like,
I
that's
remember
Ali. That's
that.
the Ali I love, man. Yeah, that's the Ali I love. Uh, but just from a technical skill level as a boxer, right, and of the sport, my GOAT, it's tied. Ali definitely checks all those boxes, but greatest greatest record, in my opinion, and it's not an undefeated, right? But it is still shut down Mayweather's, meaning he at one time was like 87-0, right? So just to show you,
Hmm.
yeah, this man fought way longer, way more, and ducked no smoke, unlike Mayweather. Sorry, I'm coming at you, man. So, but now this man's name is Sugar Ray Robinson, whom Ali. If y'all notice, I have a theme. I'm always trying to, point out the shoulders upon whom greats stand on. So if I consider Ali a GOAT, how can I not consider Sugar Ray a GOAT? And Sugar Ray, to this day, if you Google to this day, right? And Sugar Ray's heyday is the 50s, the 40s, late 40s, pretty much the 50s. There's a lot of his fights are pretty much not on film. We wish we had him on film. But if you Google to this day, greatest pound for pound fighter, if y'all not clear on what that category means, pound for pound means regardless of weight class. Like if we were the same weight class, that's never right. He pretty much wins. So pound for pound fighter, regardless of pounds, Sugar Ray Robinson tends to top that list, if not always, almost always in the top three. That man was an immaculate, gracious dancer. That dancing he took with him to the boxing, right? His tap dance game was no joke and stuff. You ever see him in movement? Who had better defense than Mayweather? Sugar Ray Robinson. Who had better defense
Hmm.
that might could compete with Sugar Ray. Might have had, I honestly admit, probably had better defense that I've ever seen. The best defense. I just wanted to bring this up because, yo, I'll put Mayweather in the
Mike
top 5.
Tyson.
I'll put Mike Tyson in the top 5. But the greatest at number 1 is the man who won a round without throwing a single punch.
Pernell Whitaker.
Pernell was no joke, but nah, we going way back. Sugar Ray Robinson time. His name was the Whisper. Willie Pep.
Willie Pep, yeah.
Willie Pep the Whisper, man. White dude, like 90 pounds, man. You couldn't hit him. He could embarrass you. Again, no one has ever won a round without throwing a punch. That means you truly defensively embarrass somebody, man. I mean, if you check out the little bit of footage that exists, you see him making the dude fall. You see him spinning the dude around, right? Like while the dude's trying to hit him and he's basically behind him already, spinning him around. Yeah, he was a problem. Check out Willie the Pep's footage, man, when it comes to defensive boxing. But Sugar Ray, just from a technical level, Sugar Ray, pound for pound, Ali, in and out of the ring, the greatest athlete ever, in my opinion.
And you know, your whole thing with Ali and you know, the draft and so forth and so on. I was talking about Kareem. You know, they were really close. They were best friends, and Kareem was the one that helped Ali through that situation when it came to, you know, the media and all that stuff. And him, Fred Williamson, because Fred Williamson was also playing football back in those days.
Yeah, right.
Right.
But yeah, man, this is original gangsters, right? Him and Jim Brown.
So all those brothers, Tristan, if you see a picture of them all together just supporting Ali sitting at the desk, it's just such a beautiful thing because they all have suits on, they all look good, they got their eyes busting out, and they're dressed to the T. You know what I'm saying? And they're representing, and those are the times that I miss seeing us on that level. And you know, who knows if we'll ever get back to that again.
Y'all remember the movie Ali and just that scene where I think Malcolm had just gotten killed? Ali is driving, and this is when Will Smith is playing Ali, and Change Gonna comes over the radio.
Yeah, I remember
that was just a powerful scene, man.
It's a very powerful scene, especially
just that's time. That's all that time frame.
Right.
Yeah, y'all think Will Smith played a good Ali?
The best.
Yeah, I think he played a very good Ali.
Me too.
Yeah, man.
I think he did very good.
Think about it. He's in a couple of our movies. I mean, or at least as far as King Richard, you mentioned Richard.
Yeah,
that's Will Smith.
He killed that movie. Yeah, that was great.
I think Ali is one of his greatest performances, honestly.
Bill Russell was also an advocate and supporter of the Black cause when it came to Muhammad Ali not going. So Bill Russell, Fred Williamson. That's why I love.
Russell's the 11 ringer, right? Bill Russell 11 rings.
They all in that, man. That's the Black exploitation movie, but it's a really good movie. I love that movie.
Yo, so as we approach the end of our live, man, this was another good one. Top 5 Tuesdays, y'all. Top 5 Tuesdays.
That's right. What's your top 5, people? What's your top 5?
Yeah, right, man. Your top 5 goats, your top 5 presidents, your top 5 women that have impacted you, inspired you.
Yeah, hit us up or either post it, send us a message and tell us who your top 5 are. We would be doing this every Tuesday, top 5 Tuesdays, man. We will be back on here, these airwaves again very soon. On our YouTube page, we are about to release our latest episode of our podcast, which is way overdue, but it's about to come out soon.
It's way overdue. It's been in the oven and it's nice and toasty for you.
Yeah, it is way overdue.
It's not.
However, it will be coming out soon. And shout outs to all of y'all, man. Shout out to all the women who are helping to change lives and who has paved the way for all of us to be where we are now. And yeah, man. Any closing words, y'all?
Hey, check out our merch. Like Donald has his shirt on, right? His hoodie on. Kurt has a hat on. Check out our merch on all our things. And see, they don't think that I have my stuff on, but I have my shirt on. So, see what I'm saying? They don't think. See, I like to mix it up in the Road to Legacy podcast because they're going to tell me later, you know, you don't have the merch on, you don't do this, you don't do that. So I just like to go like this and just go like that. Bam.
Now the viewers see
this part of government is gone. But let me say one more thing. Seriously, on just a quick serious note, that I think on the 14th, Curtis, if I'm wrong, on the 14th, the government has to make a vote where they may shut down. I need everybody to understand that they need to get out there and call their congressman on 5 Calls app to say, I need my Social Security, I need my Medicaid, I need my health care. people think that this is all over and there's going to be a problem. You know, you have Doge in the office that are just shutting things down and firing people. Veterans Affairs just lost, I think, 20,000 people. Some people are saying that it's not going to affect them, but already people are getting their checks late, their Social Security checks late, and some people depend on that for their livelihood. So please go to your 5 Calls app, call your senators or your congressmen, just even if they're Republican, or your governors, just to let them know that you do not want this bill to pass with these cuts. If the government has to shut down, then it has to shut down for now. I mean, I might not get my veteran stuff, you might not get your stuff, but if it goes through and they put in these cuts, your money's going to go to the rich constantly. I'm not exaggerating. This is very serious times. So on the 14th, you know, we have to the 14th to figure out what we're going to do. Please call your congressmen and your senators. All right, I digress. Back to fun times. I just had to say that.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
No, these just final words. Just final words. I just want to say, you know, it's a lot happening in the world, and Martin is doing his, you know, his very best to keep us abreast. So shout out to him for that. And Revelation 22 and 20 for y'all, quick fast. He which testifieth these things saith, surely I come quickly. Amen. Even so, come, Lord Jesus. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. Amen.
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 All right. So Road to Legacy, thank you for joining. Thanks everybody. Thanks Kurt. Thanks Donald, man, for just
Thank
being.
y'all, man. Love y'all.
We
Love
just
you too, King.
together, and we're going to just keep pushing our agenda and, you know, letting y'all know what's going on. So I'm out. Marty Mark out. Come on.
Read out.
Oh, yeah, man. Brother
yeah,
Reed
thanks,
out. Yeah, man. Black Packer, grace and peace. Road to Legacy.
All right. God bless.